Why is there no such thing as a final boy? Why is it always final girls? The concept of a final girl being the last survivor in a horror film, that last person that Freddy, Jason, Michael, pick your poison, is chasing after, that is one of the most consistent concepts in all of horror. Of course, you have exceptions to the theory of like final girl, final boy. There are final boys out there. There are some boys out there. However, the idea of the final girl is something that has been going on forever. It's never gonna stop. I don't want it to stop. Let's get that clear. But why? Like, it's curious, you know? Well, I think a lot of times in horror films, a key component is making the villain so much stronger than the people that it is pursuing, right? Because if we have Michael Myers and he's going after Batman or someone like that, not gonna be as entertaining because we're like, oh crap, Michael, you better hide, my guy. He's coming for you. Batman's coming for you. We need people who are kind of defenseless, and that's why even the characters like a Laurie Strode who become just freaking badass in their franchises, it's never in the first film. There are some characters who rise to the occasion. I think Nightmare on Elm Street is a great example of that. Nancy rises to the occasion. By the end of that film, she was like, okay, Freddy, you want to do this? We're doing this, bro. Meet me outside. Let's fight. But that is important. I think there's multiple reasons why we have just the final girls. If we go back and look at the actual, like, the history of horror and slashers, it's kind of always been girls. If we look at some of the early ones, Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, those are girls. And then other franchises that were copying the formula of those films. Okay, let's look at what Halloween did. Halloween did this really well. Laurie Strode worked really well. We like that. Let's just keep copying that. Let's grab the blueprint and stick to it. And again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm complaining about Final Girls. I think that's one of horror's best traditions. I think there are so many that are so freaking good. Even like now, I was going to say Ready or Not. I was going to point to that. But it's like, is she a final girl if she's also like the first girl? If she's the only girl? She's kind of a final girl still. She's a badass, dude. I love her. Samara Weaving's so good. But I think that's part of it, is just the history and the tradition of it. It's been working. The people like it. So why change it if it ain't broke? But also, I think in general too, if we're looking at like, why is it always final girls? I think in general, the horror villains are usually always guys. Look at Chucky and Michael Myers and Leatherface and Freddy and Candyman and Jason and everyone. It just goes on and on. Art the Clown and Creep. The list is endless. Because guys are fucking messed up, dude. I'm just kidding, guy. I am a guy. But I think if we're talking about just the general power balance of like big scary guy with usually like mystical powers, it makes sense to counteract that. And I think like, you know, I think the size and things like that is a part of it. And there's something cool about watching a girl who are often smaller than guys just come back and get the win. It's kind of that underdog scenario. You could say that in a general situation of like, oh, anyone is the underdog against Freddy, right? Anyone outside of maybe Batman, is the underdog in that situation. But if you look at like a Ghostface, if we get freaking, I forget the guy's name from Scream at that point in the new Scream movies, if we get him against OG, Stu and Billy, he is beating the crap out of them, dude. I'm sorry. He just is. And it's why he has to get like tag teamed by like 3. How is he not dead? That's a side subject. But I think that is a big factor of it. And like I said, it's fun watching the underdogs, watching a freaking Neve Campbell come back, dude. And she just makes it her own. Hot damn, dude. She's coming back. 2 against 1. I don't care, bro. Send me your worst. Really cool. It's one of my favorite things about horror, watching that underdog story. And again, I think that, you know, the size of men is a factor. Even then, it's like, because you also run into that scenario of like, oh, I don't buy that he's beating up Jason. I don't buy that. Granted, Jason's a freaking behemoth, but if he had some other massive guy or some guy that's like jacked, you're telling me that jacked guy couldn't beat rotten old Jason over there? You're telling me that Michael Myers, again, another behemoth, he's not getting beaten up? If you got freaking Aaron Donald lining up against Michael Myers, it's like, oh yeah, dude, I'm not buying this. That's stupid. Granted, he's the boogeyman, fictional, but still, people think like that. People 100% think like that. So that's why I don't think there are many final boys, and that's why final girls reign supreme. I'm actually doing a tier list of the best final girls, my favorite final girls, in a couple of days. So hit subscribe. I got new videos coming out every day in the month of October for this channel because Halloween's freaking sick. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Bye-bye.